Hello, and welcome to the Love Your Work Life podcast. I'm your host, Elissa Shuck. Whether you're going for that next promotion, looking for a job, or making a career pivot, I'll teach you how to navigate it all so you can have the career you want.
Welcome to the Love Your Work Life podcast, episode 34.
Okie dokie, here we are in Overcoming Job Search Challenges, Part 3. And you may have remembered the list I mentioned on Part 1, that one of the things on my list was simply Thursdays. And if you've been in a job search for any amount of time, and you think about it for a minute, you know exactly what I mean by Thursdays. Thursdays are that day that if nothing has gone the way you envisioned or planned or hoped for during the job search week, Thursday is absolutely the worst day of the week. I actually tracked this for myself back when I was in a job search for a period of time. And what I found was this very interesting curve of emotions and energy, and the low point was always on Thursdays. And when I started coaching clients on a regular basis, I noticed that the calls that I had with clients on Thursdays, oftentimes they were really just feeling so discouraged and fed up and overwhelmed that I started to also track those patterns with clients. And I created a weekly job search survival guide, which I will put in the show notes for you so that you can download it. And the reason I created it is because when I identified these behavior patterns, I reverse engineered that back to what I believe are unique needs that you have as a job seeker. So I want to review those with you. A job search has a unique way of exposing our humanness. It often happens without our permission. We could be blindsided by job loss, or even if we see it coming. There were a couple of times I saw it coming, yet my reaction afterwards was the same, whether I saw it coming or not. And this can happen also, just let me say, it doesn't matter what level you are in your career. That these 4 needs are things that are universal to job seekers when you've experienced job loss, or when you're actively looking even while employed because you have certain expectations and certain, let's say, milestones that you want to achieve. So these 4 needs are things to pay very close attention to in order to survive a job search, but more importantly, thrive in your job search. And last week I talked about your mind and the things that you're thinking. And you might think that I'm a little bit crazy thinking that you can actually thrive and have fun in a job search, but it's absolutely possible. It happens because the better you are at meeting your own needs, the better results you're going to have, and the whole experience can actually be something that's energizing instead of draining. So before I go into the needs, let's take a little bit closer look at this emotional and activity pattern that seems to happen. And you'll notice, and I often refer to a job search as a bit of a roller coaster ride with these ups and downs that you'll experience. So let's start with Monday. Monday, you feel optimistic and determined. Of course, you're setting new goals, you're getting organized, you've got your sights set on having this amazing, productive week. On Tuesday, your feelings might be curious and committed. You're networking. You're following up on stuff from the previous week. Again, it's this, hey, stuff is happening and you're actually committed to it happening. However, if things aren't going quite the way you thought they would, Wednesday can turn into feelings of impatience and doubt. Like something should be happening. Why haven't I heard back from that job I applied to when you applied to it on Tuesday morning or Monday night, and now you think, wait a minute, what's happening? How come no one's gotten back to me? You start to think something's wrong, and you start to seek information. This might be when you decide that you need to read up again on how to fix your resume, even though you've got an amazing resume. It might be signing up for a webinar or a course on LinkedIn. Listen, there's nothing wrong with those things. Don't misunderstand me. Those things can be absolutely helpful. I'd love you to listen to the podcast on Wednesdays. But notice if what's motivating that action is because you think something's wrong and that there's something lacking, or it's coming from this feeling of doubt, that action you're taking is not productive. It's likely avoiding something else. So pay attention to what's driving that. Now, Thursdays, these are the emotions: discouragement and dread. If you've ever gotten to a Thursday where things are not happening, things are not moving, you don't have any interviews scheduled, and who would ever schedule an interview on a Friday? So all you know is that you're feeling horrible. What tends to happen is you go MIA, you go missing in action. You distract yourself with non-job search activities. This is the Netflix day. This is the day that you completely avoid any and all job search things and you indulge in other activities that are far from being job search related. Now, Friday comes, you made it past that horrible Thursday. Friday comes and the emotions are resigned and relieved. Another week of job searching is over. So maybe you do some wrap-up activities, but ultimately you're using Friday to resolve to do better next week. Of course, Saturday comes along and you start to feel guilty. I didn't accomplish as much as I wanted to. So instead of getting normal rest and relaxation on Saturday, you feel guilty and you decide to try to make up for that midweek downturn. So maybe you spend a few hours on LinkedIn. Maybe you do some other things. But if it's driven by guilt and just like this grit, this gutting it out kind of feeling, again, you're not doing what will serve you ultimately in the job search. And then, of course, Sunday comes along, and Sunday I call the inspired and hopeful day. You're going to regroup. You're going to know, hey, Monday's coming. Monday, that optimistic, determined day, is right around the corner. So maybe you give yourself a little bit of time to rest, but mostly it's thinking about regrouping. Does any of this sound familiar to you? I see it all the time, and I've experienced it personally. And what I want to offer you is a better way to survive and thrive in your job search, both from the perspective of structure, and we talked about that a little bit in part 1, that how you stay structured and organized is oftentimes the exact same way you stayed structured and organized in your job. But the other thing about this survival guide is to give you the emotional support the unique needs of a job search create. Because I want you to navigate this with ease and certainty in order to be the best possible person you can be as you enter all of those interview conversations, as you enter the job search activity. Listen, these are going to be so helpful because you're attending to your whole self so you can be your best self for you, your family, for the recruiter, for the hiring manager, every single person that you encounter. These are the 4 things I want you to think about as you manage the roller coaster of emotions and activities that you're going to experience week to week. First one is joy. Take care that you're giving yourself a spark of happiness, curiosity, wonder, and appreciation. Next is care. Plowing through a job search and spending 10 hours a day, every single day, late at night, that is going to wear you down physically. So be sure that you're taking care and you're paying attention and responding to the needs that you have. The next one is growth. This is also something that you do for yourself. It's an investment in your capabilities. Now, these could be tangible capabilities or intangible capabilities. I honestly believe that because the universe is ever expanding, that we as humans and being part of the universe are also ever expanding. Like that is a normal thing for us to desire. It's normal for us to want to move ahead and grow and promote in our career. So investing in that in yourself, in the capabilities and in your desire to expand in tangible and intangible ways is another key component of taking care of yourself and the unique needs that you will experience in your job search. And then the last one I just call kudos, because this is really about recognizing your accomplishments. This is something you've got to do every single week in order to stay on top of your job search, in order to keep you feeling motivated. And as we talked about last week, maintaining that high opinion of yourself so that you can navigate everything that you're going to encounter in your job search. When it comes to the daily work that you'll do, go back and figure out the structure that works for you. In the survival guide that I'm providing for you, I will give you some suggestions of what Monday can look like, of what Tuesday and Wednesday look like, and about Thursday, what that looks like. Thursday, listen, unless you have an interview, Thursday is about one thing, and it's about keeping your promise to yourself by completing everything you planned for Thursday. Because I know that on Monday you had some stuff planned. Maybe it was going to be following up with recruiters. Maybe it was going to be applying to 5 jobs. Whatever you had planned on Thursday, that's the only thing that you need to worry about. Obey your calendar. Friday, yes, wrap up those loose ends. Start your results list for the next week. What results do you want to create for yourself in the following week? And then, of course, give yourself the recognition that you deserve for all of the results you created in the current week. Maybe you haven't heard me talk about acknowledging results, but I even like to plan a week, not as a to-do list, but as a results list. Instead of thinking of, I have to apply for 5 jobs today, make that a result. The result you're going to accomplish is applying for 5 jobs. The result you're going to accomplish is reaching out to 3 recruiters. When you start thinking of your list as a results list instead of an activity list, boy, it's a game changer, because every little thing that you have on that list, you can stop and take a moment to celebrate it right then as soon as you create that result. And absolutely, at the end of the week, give yourself credit. Give yourself the kudos that you deserve for all of the things. So if Thursdays are getting you down, just know that it's completely and utterly normal. But instead of falling prey to that dip, just hold yourself accountable to the few things that you've scheduled on Thursday. And let me tell you, you will feel better going into Friday, and you'll be able to give yourself the space that you need at the end of the week to rest and rejuvenate. When you treat your job search like it's a full-time job, if you're unemployed, and if you treat your job search like a side gig that you're really excited about when you're already employed, but you are looking for that something more, it's going to feel so much better. And the challenge of navigating it is going to be more like an adventure than something that you dread. So give these things a chance and let me know how it goes. All right, I'll talk to you next time. Hey, if you enjoy listening to this podcast, you have to come check out my Love Your Work Life programs on Teachable. You can choose from on-demand courses or personalized one-on-one coaching with me. We take all of this material and apply it so that you can live it and create the career you want. Because when you love your work life, all the other parts of life get better too. So go to Love Your Work Life Teachable as search terms, or love-your-work-life.teachable.com. I will see you there.